Hello viewers and welcome back to another piece of crap boat anchor bingo pinball repair video. And today I'm going to be working on Miss America 75. This is the second Miss America title. You have Miss America, that was the first one. It came out in 1957. And then you have Miss America 75, which is this one. It came out in 1974. And then you have Miss America Supreme, that came out in 1976. And then finally, Miss America Deluxe came out in 1978. This is going to be the second Miss America title that I'm going to be tackling. I've already made a video of Miss America Deluxe so far. And all these Magic Lines games I have are all Miss America titles, so expect that. But let's take a look at this one. This game I got in a lot of three total with two other machines. One is a duplicate, the other one is not. I will show them later in the series as we go along. But these ones I kind of regret getting. You can kind of tell just by looking at it. This one in particular. And you'll understand why. But the cabinet on this one is absolutely trashed. This side's pretty bad. The head, trashed. At least the paintwork anyway. The cabinet itself is alright. Front, also trashed. Corn door looks pretty good though. Someone's repainted it at some point, you can see. It looks like all I gotta repaint is just that red button. It'll take like 10 seconds. Shooter rod, trash. Legs are okay. I don't even know if these are the original legs for it. Because what happens is when I put these in my storage, I just kind of set the legs aside, and then when I move them out of the way to grab another machine, I end up misplacing them. So I end up just grabbing random legs from other machines. So I don't think these ones are original, but they're there, so it's all good. And then this side, also trashed. Head, trashed. See, the paint's flaking really bad near the top. I mean, it's all there. It's just horribly discolored. Maybe even nicotined. Because Super 7 was pretty bad too, and that one was horrible. Foot rail, trashed. Buttons are also trashed as usual. And then the play field, I can't even see it because this glass is so horrible. This is probably the dirtiest glass I've ever seen. It's so nasty. But from what I can see, the playfield looks all right. I don't see any wear, but again, it's hard to see. Doesn't look all that horribly discolored either, thankfully. Can't really see much else. Well, but we'll take a good look at it later once I look inside the cabinet. Steel rails, pretty rusty, but not as bad as the ones I usually get in. So these ones will probably clean up fine. It's about the only bad spot is this side, this top side. And then probably the absolute worst part of this entire machine is the back glass. It's pretty faded too. It's not horribly faded, but it's when you look at it, when you look at one that's like mint, yeah, this one is absolutely horrible. And I don't know what's up with this. This is tape, by the way. It's masking tape. I don't know what it's there for, but hopefully it'll peel off later. As far as the glass itself, it's pretty dirty too. Not as dirty as this playfield glass, but there is some flaking here and there, some bubbling. There's even a chip down here missing too, I just noticed that. If you don't know what this glass is supposed to look like, pretty much all of this red is supposed to be like almost like a blood red type color. Anything that looks like pinkish is supposed to be like this like super dark / blood red color. It's pretty bad. It's probably the worst down here where the extra balls are and this rollover star. So unfortunately, if I want to make some good money, I'll have to go all the way on this one, or at least as far as I can, which comparing to the others that I got with this one's probably the least worst, if you can believe it. The other ones you'll see eventually, they're pretty bad. They're just as bad as this one, honestly, but this one is really not as bad because the repainting is going to be a piece of cake. And you might be surprised that I said that. And you might be also wondering why I said that. And that is because everything on this cabinet, like all the paint, the colors, they're all straight edges. Like the stripes are straight edges, the stars are straight edges, stars up here on the straight edges. So that makes painting and masking a lot more easier, because all I gotta do is say I'm repainting the stripes. Well, if I want to repaint the red stripes, I just gotta mask off the white, and I can easily just do that with painter's tape. So, because painter's tape is a straight edge, 90-degree angle. So that makes it much easier compared to like the Carnival Queen that I did. That required some strategies or strategic masking, with the stenciling. So I don't think this one will be that bad. The only thing that I'm sure I won't be able to fix or even replace is this back glass. There's a scan floating around that looks pretty damn good, but nobody makes the glass. So I'm stuck. Again, this one's not horrible, so I may just end up keeping it as is. It doesn't really bother me that it's faded anyway. I'm sure it'll definitely stand out compared to the cabinet once I'm done, but I don't think it'll be that bad. There's the back door. It's also messed up, but it's the back door, so it's not a huge concern. But that's pretty much it for overview. I don't know why I can't get the cooling door open. I think it's jammed shut. Unfortunately, I don't know much about this machine either, other than there were others that came with it. And I was supposed to get a third other machine with this one. But long story short, I was basically scammed, and I never got the machine I was supposed to get. It was supposed to be an Orient, and I never got it. The person that sold me this was a black guy, so if I had stood up about it, I probably would have gotten shot and killed. So I just kept my mouth shut. But I don't think these machines will be terrible. I think they'll be quite fun. I'm just trying to be positive about it, But aside from all that, we'll pop open the back door and we'll take a look at all the goodies inside there. All right, let's see what awaits us inside. Pop that open. Here's the back door. And as you can see, the Score extra step parts are missing. Wonderful. However, this switch is still here. This was what was missing out of Miss America Deluxe, but it's here on this one. The score extra step relay is also present and accounted for. But of course they rigged it so that it can't pull in. There's all the wires for it. But down here on the back, got the traditional 3 stepper units as they're always laid out. This one looks to be the magic lines, or as for whatever reason, Bally is calling it in these games the selection feature unit. Now, when you think of selection feature unit, you probably think of, you know, select before 4th or 5th or after 5th. But that's not what it's called in these games for some reason. But that doesn't really bother me. This is the extra balls unit, which looks like someone has tampered with it in the past. Spin that back. Oh, well, we'll have to take it apart anyways. Sure, it doesn't work anyways. Timer unit. Rivets on all these don't look all that good, if I'm gonna be honest. It's already reset. It steps up fine. Resets fine. Interesting. Reflex unit, which has also been tampered with. Fingers are bent too. Carnival Queen was like this too. So those will need to be bent back. I don't know why they just turned the adjustment off. Just down here for some reason. Trip motor bank. All the switches. Let's see. This one, that one says red double. That one says yellow double, green double, white double, red mist, yellow mist, green mist, white mist, tilt, 1 extra ball, 2 extra ball, before 4th selector lock, select before 5th selector lock, extra card, roll over corners, and then the cam switch. And then here's the 4 score units. It'll look all right. This one is the red score unit. The other ones don't have the labels. This one might be the yellow one. This one might be the green. This one might be the white. That's how it was laid out in Miss America Deluxe. So I'm assuming it's the same way here, but I guess we'll find out shortly. There's a corners adjustment. It is turned off, of course. And then the mixer unit. This is the traditional model. Just the spotting wiper. Rivets pretty trashed looking, if I'm gonna be honest. Of course, score extra step parts are missing. Here's the assembly. Looks all right. Here's the 4 mixer discs. This is number 4, 3, 2, and 1. Can't see them too much, but I'm sure they're all right. Looking for wires off too. I don't really see anything that jumps out at the moment. See, the thing with these cloth wires is when they get old, they'll get all covered in soot and tarnished, and then they'll discolor too, so you can't see them too well. So it kind of makes them hard to spot for wires. There's something going on here. Oh, you know, I think Miss America Deluxe was like this. I found out too that this wire and the other wire on Miss America Deluxe are for the score extra step. For whatever reason, there's a set of rivets there that aren't hooked to an end pin like these ones are. It's just wired like such. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. Some switch stacks here. These look all right. Motor looks all right. Hopefully it'll run. Here's the back side of that spotting disc. Something there that's been messed with at some point. Goes over here. That does not look original to me, if I'm gonna be honest. It's like, look at this solder, and then look at this one. That's probably been added in. But, I don't know, that's the only thing I see, so I might just leave it alone. I do recall too, looking in the manual, that there's actually an error with this spotting disc. It involves some of these wires up here. I think, like the manual's like wrong. Like 3 of the prongs are for like extra balls, but the manual says it's like for like corners, a light bulb on the green score, and some other thing that I can't remember. So maybe that's what that is. I don't know. And then here's the 5 search relays. It's weird. Look at this. This plastic piece. It's different than these ones. Oh, never mind. They all look like that. Well, they usually look like this one. Huh, that's interesting. They all got the resistor on them. I'm not gonna bend them because it might break the prongs off. That one's messed up. Once the spring's gone. That's great. It's supposed to be like that. I might have to look for a new spring. Hopefully it's inside somewhere. But here's some bunch of relays. This game has this many relays because it has the infamous double or nothing feature, which is pretty fun because it's really fun on the 6-card game, so hopefully it's fun here, which I'm sure it will be, but I don't know. It's hard to win on these games to begin with. We'll take a look at this one. This one says white. Okay. Green, yellow, red. Oh, that might be these, if I had to guess. Search index, button safety, regular win, play double, number 2 double win, number 1 double win. This one don't look good. I have to keep my eye out on that. Delay. That one might be screwed up. Hopefully not. Mixer number 4. Red button. Anti-cheat. This one's the same as Miss America Deluxe too. That one, for some reason, these ones have a 3rd lug on them, so they have 2 windings. Not sure why it's like that, but it is. Multiplay, this one might be trash too, hopefully not. And then this might be start. Can't see it. There's a whole bunch of soot on the label. Might be start. And then this looks like the replay reset. All right. I have to keep our eye out on some of those coils. Inside the head here, here's what we got. Here's the control unit. the search disc. There's not a lot of room here. We'll get a better look at that when we take it apart. Switches. There's a resistor. It's huge. Trying to look for hacks. I don't know what's up with this one. Oh, this one got cooked or whatnot. See that? This is tape. No, this thing got burnt up. Maybe because someone was soldering that wire there. Because that solder doesn't look factory. It's tied to this one down here. Oh, there's not even any switch blades here. I guess it's tied to this wire. Maybe that's factory, I don't know. That one there looks weird. That solder there is loose. Keep our eye out on that. This is the search section, or not search, the payout section of the control unit. This is the index lock. Replay cams lock. Relay there. Oh, the label's there. Let's see what it says. Search wiper. Search wiper relay. Okay. Here's the timer cams index. All right, all that looks okay. Don't really see anything that stands out. Drag arms are there. There's a couple more over there, but can't see it. Here are the replay counters. Not sure which one is for which, but they're there. Replay register. Looks all right. That coil there doesn't look good. Transformer. There's the fuse block. Didn't look at that earlier. All the fuses are there. Not sure if they're blown, but hopefully not. And the Jones plugs, which by the way are also trash, so they probably won't work. There's a surface outlet, which is much more outdated one than the ones that we usually see. And then there's something here, which is the random motor, which I believe is responsible for double or nothing. And it looks to be hacked up. This wire is removed. Then I don't know, so there's a wire over here. There's a couple actually that are either broke off or disconnected, probably purposely so that I guess the positioning is in the place where you always get nothing if you hit double or nothing. And then the magic lines mechanism. This is much more different than what you see in Miss America Supreme and Deluxe. This is what the first Miss America and this Miss America have in them, which is much more different. It's kind of like the magic squares mechanism. There's a cam for each line. And this relay will pull in, and then they're stuck. But you can see they move. There we go, this is free. They move 1/4. There's also a home switch hidden over here. Okay. Then I believe this is home, I think. All right, we'll see how easy this is to service. Should be pretty easy. Looks like you just take each shaft out with the screw there. You can take this cam off, then the clutches, you can oil those with the Neat's foot oil. Motor, probably locked up. I think the fan, there's supposed to be a fan on here, it's missing too. I thought I saw it down here somewhere. I don't know, maybe it fell in the cabinet. But that's roughly about it. I don't really see anything else that jumps out. Oh, there's also something over here. Looks like the extra balls adjustment, which is also turned off. Or I think you can only turn off the second two. I think the first one is always enabled. I think, I don't know. But that's about it. Oh, what's going on here? This one's like that too. So I guess there might be some issues with these stepper units. Oh, they're messed up. That one's all right. This one, that one's all right. This one, that one's all right. So only this one's messed up, I think. I'm gonna check these other ones. That one's all right. This one, that one's all right. We checked the timer unit, it's all right. Reflex, I don't know about. But, I don't know. I guess that's it. I'm sure there's probably all kinds of crap screwed up. I always wondered, you know, what it was like the last time this was operated. You know, what was the last game like? So, let's see here. Usually you can tell by the trip bank if none of the steppers are stepped up. So they lit the rollovers. That's the before fifth selector lock. And the fourth one is tripped as well. Both the extra balls are activated. That's about it. So they played through their game. But I think that trip motor might have failed because you notice all these units are reset, but the trip bank is not. So maybe that gives us a clue on what happened the last time it was operated. Trip motor failed, so you couldn't properly reset the game. None of those are stepped up. That probably gives us a clue. Interesting. All right, so we'll look inside the cabinet. We'll also look at the playfield, make sure it's all right. And then we'll see what goodies lie inside the tomb. So I'll open it and we'll take a look. Okay, finally got that glass out. It was really stuck in there. I had to wedge it out with this flathead, little by little, make baby steps for the past like 30 minutes. Then once I finally got it to a point where I can get my fingers under and pull it out, that's when it came out. So here we go. And first thing I see is that the planking on this playfield is really, really bad. Most of the playfield is fine, but up here it's real bad. And down here and over here. Right here near the ball return. The rest looks all right. The hell's this? Wait. Oh, are you shitting me? Well, fucking ball of covers rotted. Great. Now I gotta look for one of those. But looks like the lamp covers are present and accounted for. It looks like the screws are loosened already. So I'll just pop this up and we'll clean out the cabinet and then take a closer look inside there. All right, dug through the cabinet. There's a lot of crap in here. So let's show you what I found. So for starters, I don't know how or why this was in here, but there's a spare ball lift cover. It was just sitting in here. So that's super convenient. I don't have to look for one online. There's this piece of paper here. Looks like a shopping list maybe. I don't know why that's in here, but it is. A lot of trash. There was a bunch of trash that I noticed that I picked out and threw it in my garbage can already, but I found this giant piece of metal. And look what it says here on this label. It says service monitor and other electronic components of game. Open coin box door. Caution, right hand latch is close to high voltage on monitor. Release the two latches indicated in the above sketch. Grasp the table at A and open it as indicated above. Caution due to weight of the monitor. Extreme care must be taken when opening the cabinet. So this is some cocktail arcade game. You know where that's from? I can't tell. Doesn't really say. Thought that was interesting. There's a bunch of fuses, but they're all blown, so they're trash. Bunch of bits and pieces of metal. This is for the back door latch because I pried it to get it open. Bunch of switchblades. Found a couple keys. So I'm hoping these will be useful. This one doesn't look like it's for the side locks, but this one does, so hopefully it is. Another latch for one of the back doors. Bunch of screws. Another fuse. Here's some boxes for the fuses. These are old. And then I found a coil that's absolutely decimated. If you ask me, this looks like a trip coil. And that shit's freaking cooked. So that was probably what was blowing all these fuses. There's a bunch of quarters. Some of these are really old. 1981. 1979. 1965. Wow, that one's old. 1981. 1967. Can't read this one. See a 6 there, but I don't know. Maybe 86. 67. 69. There's a few things I didn't pull out because I'm just gonna vacuum them up. There's a few pieces of metal. This, I don't know what the hell this is for. This is the ball lift cover. Goes right there like that. So I'll put that on later. And then this piece of metal, I found in a couple of my other games too, and I wasn't quite sure what it was for, but it's actually for this, the trough switches. It mounts like such to cover the switches so you don't get bitten when you're sticking your hand in there. So I'll have to put that back on later. Bits of paper, There's a lot of dust and junk. I think I got everything out of there. No spare parts though, so it looks like I'll be looking for score extra step assemblies once again. Might be, or I might just take them out of my Miss America Deluxe. That's never worked. We'll see. All the pinballs are present and accounted for. That one's really dirty. I don't know why. It's not rusted. I don't think so anyways. I'll clean it later. But here's what we got. Here's the coin door. Looks okay. Switch seems like it'll work. You bent that tilt switch. Red button, yellow button. There must be a door switch for that. For one of the meters over here, it might be that one down there. Total plays, I think it says on it. I don't know. There's a couple over here. Oh no, this one says total plays. That one down there. No, it says total replays. Okay, all the lamp covers I put down there because they would just fall out. Comeback key. Let's see. Oh well, definitely don't have that key. One of these days, we'll see how that works. Hopefully, if I have the key. But that's about it. So I'll clean some of this up, and then vacuum it out, and then we'll pop the playfield back in, then we'll try it. See if it works. Oh, then there's also this relay down here. Don't know what that's for. Guess we'll find out later. But I'll be back shortly after I clean this up, and then we'll move along. All right, playfield is back in. Haven't plugged it in yet, so I'll have to do that. But I forgot to mention earlier, because it was one of the first things that I pulled out, that one of the finds inside the cabinet was the schematics. It's not in the best of shape. I did fold it out and look at it earlier, but there you go. It needs to be taped back up, but we can do that later. So that'll be helpful, trying to track shit down, which I'm sure we'll be doing tons of that in this video, because it wouldn't be a bingo repair video if we weren't tracking down shit for like 3 days. If I can get this back in there. There we go. All right. So before we plug it in, I'll show you those Jones plugs for the playfield. Cabinet vacuuming turned out great, by the way, in case you were wondering. It's nice and clean in there now. We are tarnished. We should clean up all right, hopefully. So plug them in accordingly. This one goes there. Oh, that's not in very good. All right, this one goes here. This middle one. Such. I think that's in all the way. And this big one here. Line it up. Here's how crunchy they are. All right, hopefully those are in all the way. All right, about to plug it in live. Power record, looked at it earlier, looks all right. No ground prong, but let's see what she'll do. All right, here we go. Plugged in. Game is off, by the way. All right, no fire. Let's wake her up and see what she does. Here we go. Okay. Did you hear that? These motors are screwed. When you heard it go, and it stopped because this control unit motor is seized. I don't know if I could run it like that. I didn't hear this one run either. Seems loose though. And you know, we're gonna do it a little differently. I'm gonna turn this off. And then I'm gonna plug my heater. And then I'm gonna turn the game on. Okay, game's on. So when we flip that switch on my power strip, it should turn on. We'll see that motor. Yeah. This was the one that was squealing. Yeah, this game is very screwed up. I don't think it's okay if it's okay to run it like that, but I think this fuse was making noise. Something over here was like zzz. No, I didn't see the fuse blow up. Need some oil. Yeah, these are really stiff. My goodness. This one's completely locked up. It's starting to spin a little better now. I'm not seeing the cams move though. Hopefully I'm not spinning just the fan and not the actual shaft. Oh no, I see it down there. Oh, now I'm spinning just the fan. Oh, let me see. Let's do what we did with Broadway. Okay. I think I'm turning it backwards. Yeah, this is engaged, so this needs to turn. Okay, I gotta get it to home. Let me see if I need both hands for that. Let me see if I can move this back to home before we do anything else. All right, got the control unit back to home, and now the motor's no longer trying to engage. I've been sitting here for a few minutes and nothing's smoking, so I think it's okay. It might be in tilt because nothing tried to engage. So last time, when I worked on the Dixieland, it would kick the ball out, and they're all in the trough, but I don't know if that circuit's working. But all these playfield lamps are dead. There's some lit on the back glass though. So, let's see if it'll try to start. If it does though, we still have to help those motors spin, but let's see if the coin switch will work. Yeah, nothing happens. See, it's very broke. Let me see here. Yep, the tilt relay's tripped. Let's see. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna push it in. See if we can help it spin. See if it'll start going. I'll put some oil on it if this doesn't help, but I like to do this for fun. I don't think it'll burn up this way. See the cam's turning. Almost got it. Probably might need to make one entire revolution before it kicks. Mixer motor is not on fire yet, in case you're wondering. I don't know if these motors burn up if they don't engage. Almost got it. You know, before we turn it, I accidentally hit the stop, but I was gonna say, before we start turning it a bunch, I'm gonna see if I could push this fan out a little bit, and I have, so it shouldn't start hitting everything like Broadway did when I first got the mixer running. So now we're gonna try it again. It was the kick ball lift motor that you heard. It's spinning a lot more better now, but it still needs some help. Oh, there it goes. Almost. Come on. Timer step up circuit's working though. I think it might be up. All right, now let's get the mixer on because it's also stuck. Here we go. What is that? Oh, it's that switch there. That needs some adjustment. There you go, I guess it's good to go. White tried kicking out 2 balls though. Oh, there's our playfield lights. Okay. I don't think it'll try to start though. I think it's still horribly messed up. Alright, we'll still oil those motors when we work on them, just so that they're much more quiet. But let's see if it'll start now. Okay, yeah, it still won't start. It's alright. I wonder if I have those cabinet plugs in all the way. They look alright. But, I don't know. Here's the start relay. See if that'll work. Oh, kinda did. Oh, you know what? I don't think this works. Yeah. That's screwed up too, as usual. Okay. Well, it opened the shutter, but clearly the game's not working. Okay. Might be able to bend that back. But yeah, nothing's working. Let me see. You know, you grab these pliers if those walls get stuck. Try it like that. Yeah, that's messed up. Well, it's capable of doing something at least. Not much, of course. But all this needs work. These need work. That's quieting down a little bit, but it's still loud. Yeah, the whole thing just needs gone through. But I think I'm gonna do a little bit differently this time. Usually when I get into machines, I start going through all the electronics, get them working, up and playing. But I kind of want to do the cosmetics first, since I feel like it would be much more easier to play it, and it would just look good overall. Because it wouldn't take that long to get this looking good, honestly. Because it's already pretty much in an okay state. There we go, that's more quiet now. And cleaning the playfield wouldn't take long, of course. A lot of this stuff is easy to take off too. Like the coin door, just a few bolts with threads on the other side that need to be taken off. This has a few screws on the inside you gotta take off. Legs are common sense. The steel rails are held in by these little posts, or nails rather. Just gotta pry them off. Never taken them off before, so I'm hoping it'll be easy. Then you just clean the glass, and then I don't know. But I don't have everything I need. First, I need the paint. I need the ring kit for the playfield. Need the light bulbs for the back glass, and then I think that might have been it. But I think for now I'm just gonna start working through the electronics until I have everything for the cosmetics, and then we'll just go along from there. So I'll shut this down, and then we'll start with those stepper units there at the bottom, and then we'll just work our way along. Well, I was about to start on the electronics, get as far as the candle while I wait for the supplies to arrive for the cabinet, but then I realized that I technically already have all three colors. Right here. Red, white, and blue. These colors are left over from Carnival Queen, if you remember that. Flat white, and then red pepper. And then this blue here, I got because of when I was repairing my Super 7. It had one of the colored buttons on the front and I needed to repaint it. So that's why I bought that color. So I guess I can technically start on the cosmetics, which is what I wanted to do. And I got in the playfield parts, technically just the rubber rings, and I got some light bulbs for the back glass, or behind the back glass. So I guess I'll just go ahead and start. So I'll tear down the cabinet to where it's just a bare, empty cabinet. Really nothing left on it. I'm gonna take all the metal stuff off of it, like the coin door, the shooter rod, the steel rails, the foot rail, of course. I'm gonna try to pop off the steel rails. I couldn't get off the wood rails from the Carnival Queen, but these steel ones have these little nails that are holding it in. I think they're nails. So I'm hoping those will pop off easily. We'll find out. So I'll come back when we have nothing but just an empty cabinet, and then we can start painting. All right, strip down the cabinet of all the things that I don't want to paint over. On that side, you can really see how it looks, or how it used to look. You got those steel rails covering it. That's pretty much how I pictured it too. Here's the head. Still gotta take the bottom frame off. I can do that later. There's the two glasses, playfield. Just that little board that sits in the cabinet, catches the balls. There's the steel rails. Foot rail, parts of the frame, and a bunch of parts from the cabinet, like the screws and whatnot, bolts, shooter rod. Yeah, I got parts everywhere. Then over here, got the legs, and then the metal that I'm going to be painting. What was pretty strange to me is the frame around the coin door is all separate pieces. 4 of them to be exact. They all had square bolts with nuts that need to be taken off. And the coin door took the buttons off. They're over here. I'm gonna paint them as well. I sanded down the red one already. The yellow one I'm just gonna paint right over. So I think for the cabinet, I'm gonna start with the red. So I'm gonna mask off all the white. And here's how I'm gonna do the stars. I'm gonna paint over them, but with an X-Acto knife, I'm gonna carve all the way around the stars. So that way, when I put the paint on, the red and the white, you'll still see the indent where I carved around the stars. So then that's how I'll mask off with the tape and then spray paint it blue. Same with the front and this side. I'm probably gonna do one side at a time with all 3 colors, possibly. Still thinking about it. But luckily, like I said earlier, everything is a straight edge, so it shouldn't take as long as it did with Carnival Queen trying to paint back all the colors. Because all I gotta use here is just tape. You know, I don't have to make any stencils. I could make stencils for the stars, but tape is better and faster. Same thing with the head. Gonna carve around all the stars, spray paint the whole thing blue, and then mask off each star, then spray paint it back white. And that should take care of that. But that'll be at a later time. We're gonna do the cabinet first. So I'll mask off all all the white parts that I don't want to paint, and then we'll spray the red on. Well, actually, first I gotta carve out the stars. But I'll come back when I have the white sprayed on there, or red, whichever one I said first. All right, got the red sprayed on. Waiting for it to dry before I start doing the white. I've also carved out the stars, or rather traced around them, as you can see. So that's how I will be able to put them back in correctly. Also did the front too while I was at it. See, carved around them. I've also painted the all the metal parts too, which I'll show you. Here they are. Got the legs, sprayed them inside and out. Sprayed the coin door frame, then the coin door itself. Then I also got the 2 buttons painted as well. So that's taken care of. So now, once I have the red dried, I can now put on the white, which should also dry pretty quickly. It's the white I'm using again. And then the red. It's getting pretty low, so I'm hoping I have enough for the front and the other side. I do have another color, or another can of red, but I think it's a little darker than this, and it's also glossy. So I'm hoping I don't have to use that, but if I do, I will. I might go ahead and start carving out the stars on the head too while I'm waiting. Might as well. Gonna need to later anyway. But I don't think I won't do anything with the head until I'm done with the cabinet. Then I also gotta clean a bunch of this metal too, like the shooter rod. It's a big problem. All that will need to be cleaned. All the hardware for the coin door. And some other things like the switches for the buttons, those had to be taken out. But that's not all a big deal. So it looks like it's almost dry. Used to look real wet. This spot right here is a little wet. It's looking pretty dry for the most part. It's a little sticky, but I don't know, I might just leave it overnight so it can dry all the way, so that way when I do put the tape on it and peel it up afterwards, it doesn't take any of the paint with it. So that's what's going on so far. So I'll come back when I have the white sprayed on. We'll take a look at where we're at then. All right, here's how the white turned out. Looks pretty good. Already looks a whole lot better. Feeling like some of the red took a bit of the paint away, but I kind of like it. It gives it character. It's not meant to be perfect, of course. So I think what I'll do now is I'll start doing the stars. So I'll have to figure out how I want to do it, how much I gotta mask off so that I don't get overspray everywhere. But that'll be for me to figure out. So I will do that, and I'll come back once it is done and dry. Then we'll start doing this front. I may do that on the side while I wait for that to dry, and I might start on this too, just to make it go faster. But I'll come back when I've made some more progress. All right, so we're making some progress. I finished this side completely. See, it looks pretty good. We need to come back to it and do some touch-ups around some of these stars. So I don't know what the deal is, but this blue paint reacts negatively with the white paint. I don't know if it's the pigment or what, but I don't know. And it started bubbling, so I had to repaint it several times. You can kind of tell that's at sand down some of them because they got real bad. Those ones down there were fine. They're fine enough. But because of that, I decided to do a little bit differently. So here's the front. I started on it a little bit. So what I did first was I spray painted the stars. and then I sprayed the red on, and it seemed to do a lot better. So I'm hoping once I spray the white on, we should be good. And did the same thing with this side and sprayed the stars first. But I kind of messed up because I forgot to carve out these first two. And those are the two that I first sprayed. So I'll have to go back over and carve them. I did this one fine because the stenciling stood out, but this one not really, so I'll have to use this star over here as a reference. But that'll be for later. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna spray the white on this side in the front, see how it looks. If it looks good, then I'll just repeat the same thing on this side, and we should get the same results, I'm hoping. And also, once this side is done, then I can start putting everything back on, like the coin door frame, coin door, shooter rod, anything else. I think that's about it, but so that should make it pop much more. All right, so spray the white on, then we'll see how it looks. All right, got the front side done. Turned out pretty good. We'll take a closer look at it later. So I'm about to wrap up this side. I've already painted the blue earlier, like I said, and I've already painted the red, which is behind all the green tape here. And I'm about to spray the white on. I'm hoping I have enough white because I didn't have enough red with the first can that I used. I ended up using the other one to finish the other side. Or not the other side, all the red stripes. So I'm hoping I have enough white here. Probably not, but I ordered a can ahead of time, so hopefully I don't have to wait too long for it to arrive. But I'll spray the white on, we'll see how it looks, and then we can start putting the cabinet back together finally. All right, got this side finished up. Looks pretty good. Again, there's plenty of inconsistencies. I'll probably have to fix this up. I don't like the way that looks. And some of the paint is gone from up here. Not sure if I'll do anything about that, but that I will do something about later, of course. But the rest turned out pretty good. I think the only part that's left to paint is this back side right here, which I'll probably do. So I ended up running out of white paint, and I ordered some, and I was able to finish up with the rest of it. The red, like I said, I used some other can, but it had a glossy finish to it, so you can tell the parts that I had to use it on versus the parts that are still the other kind of paint. But it doesn't really bother me. It is just a tiny bit darker than the original paint that I was using. And there's a bit of a noticeable sheen difference, of course. But when you're looking at it from like right here, you can't tell until you go close up. Then you can really notice it. But when you're looking at it from a distance, it looks great. So, with the cabinet out of the way, now I can start doing the head. And I tried to do it like Super 7, but this time it wasn't really cutting it. See, when I sand too much, you can see the blue paint showing through. So I guess I'll do this the longer way, which is to carve out all the stars on both sides. And then spray the whole thing blue, and then just, I guess, tape around the stars, which I guess shouldn't take too long, but it'll definitely slow me down. But that's all right, because again, that's a straight edge. It's not like I have to make any stencils for that. I could make it go faster, but that would probably lead to more inconsistencies, which would bother me a lot. And that also cost me some time trying to fix them. So I'm just gonna do it that way, with just carving out the stars and spraying it, the whole thing, one color, and then just going back in with the white and the painter's tape. So what I think I'll do now is I'll paint that back side. And then I can start putting all the stuff back on. There's the frame, the coin door. I haven't done anything with the shooter rod yet. I'll have to do that. And probably a bunch of other hardware. So I'll do that, and I'll cut back when it's all done. You can see how it looks. All right, so now we're gonna finally start on the head. This shouldn't take too long, but I'm hoping not. So what I've done so far was I carved out all the stars with the X-Acto knife, which is what I use. Then I sprayed the white paint on it, let it dry. Then I went back over it with the tape and cut out the shapes. So now all I gotta do is just spray the blue on. And it should be easy doing it this way, because what I was originally going to do was I was going to spray the blue first, and then go back over it with the white. And I think that probably would have got me messed up, because it would have been the dark color against the white color. It probably would have been like overspray, you know. So I'm gonna do it this way, and it should come out better. So what I'll do is I'll spray the blue and then let it dry, and then we'll see how it looks, and then we'll do the other side. All right, here's how it turned out. I like it. Looks really good. All right, so we'll flip it over, then rinse and repeat on that side. All right, folks, I got this side done. Turned out pretty good too. Looks great. I painted the little sides too, where just that little space where the cabinet sits, which is like right about here. Painted that too. So I think the only thing left to do really is paint the top. If I got enough paint, I'll do the back door, but I probably won't. So I'll just settle with the top, and that's fine with me. So I'll get that done, and then I'll show you how that looks. All right, folks, I got it all back together. Not completely, of course. There's still a bunch of things laying around and stuff that we gotta do. But I mainly just put the cabinet back on its legs. Here's how it looks. Front looks amazing. Coin door turned out good. Shooter rod. Cleaned that up. Legs look good. I leveled out the back ones because they were in all the way. Steel rails cleaned up pretty nicely too. Kind of got bent a little bit, of course, from taking them off, but that's all right. I've lost a couple of the nails too, but the ones I have it in right now seem to hold it together pretty good. So while I was putting this back together, I decided, since everything was right in my teeth and I had everything taken apart, I might as well clean all the switches. So that's what I did. I cleaned all the switches on everything. That was important anyways. I cleaned that Jones plug there for the coin door. I cleaned and serviced the ball lifter. That includes these switches and the mechanism itself. I oiled all the pivots. It's nice and smooth now. So that should work pretty good. Clean all the switches in the ball trough. And then put that plate back on too. That was just loose in the cabinet. And all the button switches. So I think the next thing we're gonna do is the playfield, and we're gonna do it entirely. That includes cleaning the switches and then cleaning the wood itself and all the plastics, of course. So I'll set that back in here and then we'll start on it. All right, leave the playfield back on the cabinet. So here's what we gotta do. We gotta clean all the switches here on the shutter motor unit. There's not a whole lot, so that shouldn't take too long. And here the lifter start relay, there's a few switches here that will need to be cleaned. They're all pretty oxidized. I might have to switch them around too, because those ones get really worn down and they'll mess up your ball lift circuit pretty badly. And then there's a few here that, in this game, are responsible for resetting all the magic lines. And then, in every hole except for the return hole, there's a switch that lights up the numbers. And that's hidden underneath the shutter. But we're not going to worry about that right now, because that's usually one of the last things I do. And then here's some switches for the rollovers, as well as a couple of light bulbs I'll need to replace. And then the runway switch here, which lets the ball circuit know that there's a ball sitting in the trough, or the runway. So what I usually do is I just start on the shutter motor, do the biggest things first, and then worry about the smaller things last. So how I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this screw and these two screws off to remove this cover, and then that'll give me access to all the switches. So I'll do that, I'll clean them up, and I'll just clean these up just to save myself some time, and probably all those other ones. Then I'll show you all the ones for the holes next. All right, I cleaned all the switches here. They weren't too bad. There was one on the shutter motor that was so badly pitted. But I'm about to do all the hole switches. And in most cases, you don't have to do this on your machine, but since this one's so bad, I think it's best that I do it. So what I gotta do is I just gotta stick the file down in there and clean those contacts real good, or at least as best as I can. So I'll do that, and then I'll come back when it's done. It shouldn't take too long again, because this didn't take too long. So hopefully that all goes as well. So I'll be back when it's done, and then we can flip it over to the top. All right, just finished cleaning all the switches. Took no time at all. I use this type of file this time. Usually I use ones that are flat like this that I can easily stick down in there. But I found this one to be much more better. You see some of them. They get dirty too, but they probably don't get dirty enough to where they don't conduct. And also replace these light bulbs too while I was at it. And this red insert here keeps falling out, so I'll have to put some glue down in there. But that's it for the underside of the playfield. So we'll flip it to the top and then we'll start cleaning it. Oh, I almost forgot. We got to clean the Jones plugs too. Oh, crusty looking. Coin door was really bad. These ones aren't too bad, but of course, they're not great looking. So, what I like to do is I just take sanding blocks like these. Just go a little along the sides of the pins. I don't clean the whole thing because you don't really need to, unless you have to, of course. And that usually gets it going for me. So, that's what I'm gonna do. Then we can put it back in and start on the front, or the top side rather. So I'll be back when that's done. All right, it's time to tackle this playfield. And the only thing I'm not really sure about is this top part up here where the woods flaked away, the paint rather. But I got these acrylic markers for Christmas some time ago, so I'm gonna try and see if I could use them there. But there's actually another thing that's a big deal, and that's two of these things, whatever they are broken. I didn't even notice that until earlier, so I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do about that. And I might be able to solder them together. I don't know. I think there's some replacements floating around on eBay, I think, but the problem with these is I could never get these out of the wood, and I feel like if I did, it would like tear up all the paint, at least all the paint around the pole. So I don't know. I'll have to figure that out later. But it's time to clean it. So I'm gonna do the usual. Gonna spray it down with some Windex and scrub it with some magic erasers, and that should clean it up nicely, I bet. Hopefully it doesn't tear up too much of the flaking paint. And down there too is a big problem. But we'll see how it looks after that, and then we'll just deal with it then. So I'll set the camera up on the tripod, and then we'll get scrubbing. So here we go. folks. I think I've gone as far as I can with this playfield. Looks alright, but the discoloration is pretty bad. But bottom line is, it's clean. So that's all that matters. I touched it up here a bit. I didn't have the correct color markers, acrylic paint markers, so I just matched up as best I could. It looks all right. From a distance, it looks a little better back here, but you can still tell it's not the same color. But it is what it is. It's not meant to be perfect. And I don't know, I might just leave the rest of it, honestly. I'm not too concerned about that. The wear gives it character anyway. So with that said, I'll get waxing it. Hopefully I have enough wax. I never checked because I ran out of Windex. Luckily I finished this one just in time. But I should have enough to cover this playfield. So we'll do that next. Then we'll put all the plastics back. Then we'll see how it looks. And I also cleaned all the pinballs too. One of them was really bad. It had rust pitting, so I had to throw it away. But luckily I had some spares left from previous games, so I just threw it in with that one, and we'll put them in later. So let's keep going. All right, folks, I got the playfield finished up. Looks really good. We don't see all the spots where it's not discolored, then it looks good. The waxing made it look a lot better. So I threw all 8 pinballs back inside, so those should be a lot better. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do is, while I have the glass out, is I'll change all the light bulbs, or at least some of them rather, because I'm not gonna throw away all the 55 bulbs anymore. So I'll take all the bulbs out, clean the ones that look good, and then I'll throw them back in, and then we'll see how they look with the machine on. Alright, swapped out a majority of the light bulbs with new ones. A lot of the ones I kept were the 55 bulbs. I just put them wherever. A lot of these bulbs were still working too, so I just threw them in there. Saves me money. But there was something about this back glass that I noticed, and that was majority of the graphics are translucent. Like this chick right here is completely translucent, but there's no bulbs right there. Same with this girl here. And the Bally logo, and the 75, there's no bulbs up there. The only bulbs that are present up there are the ones for the name of the game, Miss America. So I think what I'll do is later, not right this moment because I want to start working on the game itself, is we'll do a bunch of light mods. We'll put a bunch of sockets in to illuminate all those areas, kind of like what we did with Nashville. And that should make it pop much more, I bet. So we'll put the glass in, and then we'll start working on all this stuff over here because it's about time we do that. So I'll do that and we'll get started. Alright, it's time to start screwing around with all this BS. So we're going to do it how I usually do it. I start here at the bottom of the back door and work our way up to the mixer unit as like the final boss of the back door. Then I start here at the bottom with the Jones plugs and the head, then work our way up to the magic lines unit. And then, since we already did the entire cabinet, this is all I gotta do, and then we're just troubleshooting after that. So I'm gonna start with the magic lines unit, or as they're calling in this game, the selection feature unit. And all of these stepper units step up fine. Funnily enough, I think the only one that's really an issue is this one here. I don't think this one steps up. Yeah, that one's got issues, but we'll worry about that later. There's actually something else I noticed too. A lot of these coils have been replaced. See, that one there is an original, and that one's original, but that one's replaced. All those ones are original, looks like. That one up there has been replaced too. That one's still original. So I don't know what happened before that made all those burn up, but they did. And a lot of these coils too are pretty cooked. So I'm hoping I don't have to replace those anytime soon. But I guess we'll see. But aside from all that, we're gonna knock out all of these, not at once, but simultaneously, one by one. Then we'll get to this trip motor because it's just as messed up, I think. Yeah, I can't turn it. So I'll knock those out. I am gonna show this one because they bent the fingers up real quick. But I'll knock that one out, then we'll move on. Okay, I just finished up all these stepper units, or at least these two. I already made a video on that one. Here's the extra balls unit. This finger was lifted up. So was this one. Cleaned it nicely. Cleaned the switches on the back of the timer unit. The extra balls unit doesn't have any. One thing to note, that the timer unit had like a rivet that was like all charred and burnt up. So I have to look into that later. But I'm about to do the reflex unit because this one's got issues too. They've also lifted up a bunch of the fingers up off the rivets. Not sure why, because there's literally an adjustment right down here that you can just unplug. And I'm going to clean it up too. It's also pretty tarnished and oxidized. But this one shouldn't take too long. So I'll knock it out and I'll show you how it looks after that. That's much better. Nice clean rivets. Fingers back in place. This little plug is clean, as well as the little socket since it was easy access. So that wraps up these stepper units plus the reflex. So now it's time to work on all these trip relay switches. That's gonna be lots of fun. And to start that off, I gotta take apart this goddamn motor because it's all seized up. So that should be fun. The way I did it last time was I took this whole thing apart, the two wig nuts on the bottom and top. Looks like this one's loose already for me. And once I get this flung out of the way, I can take the screws off. And then there's this fourth one that's hidden under there, that's underneath this wheel. And I was able to get that out with a pair of needle-nose pliers. They're not out here right now, but that's what I used last time and that was successful. So I'll just rinse and repeat here and that should get us going. So I'll do that. Then I'll start cleaning the switches and then I'll let you know if I find anything goofy. Otherwise I'll just knock them all out because there's really nothing to show there. It's just cleaning a bunch of blades. Those ones there are pretty tarnished. But I'll knock them out. Alright, I finished cleaning all the relays, or not relays, the switches. And I also got the trip motor unstuck, but I can't test it right now because something is triggering the tilt relay. But you'll just have to take my word for it that it works. You'll see it later. So I think the next thing I'll do is I'll clean all these relays here. Bunch of switches, especially on these ones down here. These are the ones that are the biggest issue, like replay, reset, start, multiplay, and anti-cheat. I think this one's anti-cheat, yep. I don't know why, but for some reason these ones have 3 windings. And they're on all the time as soon as you turn the game on. I don't know. But I'm gonna clean the switches, knock that out. That shouldn't take too long. So I'll come back when that's done. All right, I just finished cleaning the last relay, which was the replay reset. So those are all clean. And we might be able to start it now since I cleaned the start relay, which was this one right here. A lot of those switches were destroyed, but I'm not gonna try it just right this moment because I think whatever's causing the tilt to stay in is something over here on the control unit. I checked the tilt bob and it's not touching, so I don't know. None of the tilt switches seem to be stuck shut from what I can tell. That one down there is open. I'll worry about it later. So the next thing on the list is these 4 score units here. This one is the red. That one, label's gone. Label's gone on the rest of those too. So this is our only indication of which color it is. But this one's messed up. It doesn't seem to step up and something's going on here with the springs. It might be all gummed up, I'm not sure. but we'll take it apart, clean it up real good. Rivets are quite nasty. Can say the same thing about the fingers on the spider. And we'll just knock them out one by one. So I'll come back when that's done. I'll let you know if I find what was the issue, because a lot of these have that same thing with the spring going on. That one does. These two are fine. Those ones though are bent pretty badly. I don't know why. Oh, this one's like that too. Oh, maybe those are supposed to be that way. I don't know. But I'll knock them out. Alright, just finished all the score units. Oh no, by the way, labels are right here on the side. That one's the white, that one's the green, this one's the yellow. Now this red one, it steps up fine now. I think the issue is because they replaced the coil stop there at the top wasn't quite lined up correctly. So this bar right here couldn't latch onto the gear, but now it does. And this was the only one that I actually had to take apart and clean that gear because it was all gummed up. The rest of them are still fine. So those are out of the way. So now it's time to clean the mixer unit. Now I have the Score Extra Step assembly from the other Miss America Deluxe that I worked on recently that this doesn't work in. So I'm gonna try it on this one. All the wiring's up here, so I just gotta figure it out by using the schematics. And the Score Extra Step relay and this square pin switch are still present. So that's the only part that I need to install. And this is your traditional mixer unit. It has the 4 mixers instead of the 5 in the Mystic Lines units. These ones, I'm trying to look at the spacer orientation. It's going to be key for later when we're putting this back together. But it doesn't look all that complex. So I'll get started. I'll tear it down to just nothing with these hanging discs with the rivets. Then we can clean all the parts, put it back together, then we'll see it work. And then we'll just have these search relays left to do. So I'll get started on that and I'll update you as I go along. Alright, took it all apart, laid everything down here. Here's some of the hardware. But there's the 4 mixer discs. These don't look too bad, of course. A lot of these will have wear. But some of these will need to be cleaned anyway. This one's actually pretty rough because this finger right here, the tip of it is gone. So I don't know what to do about that. I don't know if there was another one of them like that. That one's fine. I think it was just that one. That one's alright. That's how it's supposed to be. See, these ones are really worn out. Especially that one there. Hopefully that won't be an issue. But here's the motor. Shaft is pretty rough. It was actually kind of hard taking all this off because it was just stuck on there. There's all like the spacers and whatnot. Spotting wiper. Score Extra Step assembly. There's a switch down there. And then up here, we got the 4 mixer discs. This one's the worst looking easily, but that shouldn't take too long to clean up. And then the spotting disc, also not too bad for the most part. I wonder why there's like a set of rivets missing out of this one. I don't think the Miss America Deluxe is like that. Got these spool fingers, those need to be cleaned. Then you need to clean the spotting index. There's these switches for the light bulbs, I believe. And that square pin switch for the score extra step. And the score extra step relay. And then there's these cam switches. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and then this is separate from that, but this is the extra balls adjustment. That'll need to be cleaned. Reminder to do that. But I'll knock all this out. Shouldn't take too long. Let's see. I think what I can do with this is I can install it right now, hook it all up while everything's out of my way, and then I don't have to worry about it later. I'd rather do it now. So I think I'll do that first, get the wiring figured out. Then I'll start cleaning everything. Then we should be almost done with the back door. Leaves just these switches. And that'll be it. So I'll take care of all of this, and I'll be back once more when I make some more progress, or if I just finish the whole thing outright. All right, just finished cleaning all the parts. Here's the motor. I cleaned the shaft with oil, wiped it down. The mixer discs, cleaned all the contacts, even though they were already pretty clean for the most part. Search wiper. Cleaned all the switches up here. And the mixer discs. This one's pretty worn, these sets of rivets, so I'm hoping they'll work fine, but I guess we'll see. I got the score extra step index hooked up. There is an error though. In the manual it shows for the coil it's supposed to be a green and yellow wire, but the only other wire that was on here from this loom is a blue and white wire. So I just connected it and we're just gonna see if it works. I'm sure it will. It said control unit cam 4 is responsible for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's this one, I think. I don't know if they count this one. I don't know, but we'll see later. And then the spotting disc. It's all clean. Again, these rivets are kind of worn, but should work all right for the most part. These switches are clean. And I cleaned the switches up here, and I took that piece of trash that was sitting in there. So that should now work, hopefully, this time. And then that switch is also clean. So, with that said, now I can put all of it back together. Hopefully I don't screw up the orientation. I don't think so, because I have everything laid out in order of disassembly. So I just have to put everything on piece by piece in correspondence with the mixer discs, of course, and everything else. So I'll put it all back together. I'll show you how it looks, and then we'll move on. All right, I got the mixer unit all back together. Didn't take too long. And I usually turn it on too, not only to make sure that it works, and just because I can clean these little grooves in there with that file while it's spinning. So I've done that. So those should be good to go. And the last thing I did was I cleaned all the search relays here. This one here was missing this metal piece and a spring. This metal piece I actually remember finding in the cabinet. And the spring I just took from a random spring that I had spare and just cut it. So now that's good to go. So I'll mount this back and then we'll try it and see if it plays now. So I'll mount this back and then we'll give it a try. All right, so after all that work, cabinet and back door, let's see if it will finally start and play. Been eager to find out if we can. All right, something buzzing in the back. Is that a relay? Yes. Just making sure it's not a coil. Kick the ball out earlier, we dropped that back in there. Okay, so it's in tilt. Oh, before we start it, I actually fixed the problem with the tilt relay pulling in. It's no longer in. I forgot to put the comeback key back on that plate. So the switch to pull it in while you're turning the key was stuck shut because of that. So I mounted it back and now we're good. All right, so now let's see if it will start. Here we go. It does. Aha, nice. Let's see if the red score stepped up. I believe it did, right? It did, okay. Just the light bulb's not working. And it gave us our 4 credits because it's set on multiplay. Okay. Lights look good. Okay, score stepped up. Will it extra card? See if we can get the magic lines. Okay. Hit the coin switch. Okay. I hate it when it does that. There's like some anti-cheat coins switch tilt circuit that these have. Something to do with the control unit. Okay, so we lit A and B. Okay. Of course it restarts. Let's see. Well, okay. I don't like that. Let's try it again. Okay. We'll probably restart again. Okay, well, let's just manually move the extra magic lines. Okay, I think we have A and B lit. Let's move it up all the way. Okay, now they're all lit. I cleaned the glass, by the way, too, but I need to get some rubbing alcohol, get that adhesive off. We'll just step up the scores randomly. Score step relay is working. Okay. All right. Okay, let's shoot the ball and see how it plays. Kicked out the next ball, shutter closed. 15. Okay, the lights are working, pretty dim. Okay, let's see if the magic lines work. I haven't cleaned the foot rail yet, by the way. Okay, A. Okay, it's working. It's A. Doesn't sound too good though. B. B works. Of course, the contacts are screwed up, so they don't work good. C. C works. D. D works. And E. All right, they're all working. That unit needs major TLC. Okay. We lit the rollovers too, that's nice. Well, oh, okay, let's move that C line over. There we go. Now we have 3 in a line there in the main card. That's not flashing. One of the bulbs probably have a bad connection or not working. Okay, there's the lockout coil that tripped. 7. Contact's not working. There's after 5th lockout. 8. Okay, let's see if it'll scan and find it. I don't think it will, but we'll give it a shot. Okay, well, it's hit the search wiper recoil. Well, now it's not working. Timer's trying to step up. I don't think that's there all the way. Okay, yeah, this gets stuck. Probably since it hasn't moved in so long. Yeah, even if you hold it down, it still gets stuck. So of course, that'll need to be worked on. Let's see if it will find it. I know there's a switch somewhere that, I think it's this stack, that kills the entire search circuit. So that may be messed up. Oh, I think it almost got it. Heard it skip for a moment. Oh, maybe that was the timer step up. I don't know. Big arc. Might have to clean that search wiper and disc before we can get it to work, I guess. Those contacts might be too bad right now. That's all right. Just wanted to see. Well, that's pretty good progress, if you ask me. It plays, doesn't score yet, and the features advance and unlock. Perfect. All right. So we'll shut it down. Then we'll start on the control unit, everything here in the head, which isn't a lot, luckily. So I'll set this up to where we can work on it, and then we'll start cleaning it thoroughly. All right, went ahead and disassembled the control unit, or at least what I wanted to. Here's the search wiper. Those grooves need to be cleaned a bit. Fingers look alright because they always drag on the contacts and it cleans them for the most part. There's all the hardware. Here's the spotting disc, or search disc rather. It's pretty dirty too. Those should clean up nicely, I bet. See, these are the ones that were probably giving us trouble because they weren't conducting very good. Here's the switch. I think it was for this relay over here that's hidden. I think it probably kills the button circuit and probably something else. But as for the switches themselves, they aren't really good for the most part. A lot of them are pretty dirty and oxidized. But you saw it was working for the most part. Again, not all of these are bad. Like that one's pretty good. That one's trashed. That one's eh. That one's eh. That one there is alright. But I think this one here is going to be a big problem. Because I know this switch, this top switch is responsible for the mixer latch coils. So I'm hoping I have another spare switch that I can throw on there. And then that bottom one, of course, is for the timer step up. It's pretty trash looking too. But we'll worry about that later. Just gonna focus on one switch stack at a time. Clean them as best I can. Clean this up. Oh, these gotta be cleaned too, these spool fingers. And that's about it for the controller unit, because before I took this apart, I actually cleaned all these switches over here. I think I can show some of them. Probably go out of focus, but there's one down there. So everything over there is already taken care of. We just gotta do these top ones and the rest of this. So I will knock all of this out and I will come back if anything is goofy. I find something that's wrong, like a hacked out wire or something, or broke. If not, then I'll just finish the whole thing and get it done. All right, I finished cleaning everything on the control unit that I wanted to clean. Clean all the switches. These are the scoring ones. These are the game specific ones. That one there is pitted. It looks dirty, but it's not. I cleaned it. A lot of these were pretty badly pitted too, especially these ones over here. But I filed them down as best I could. So we'll just have to make do with them. And as for this switch stack over here, there was a spare switch that is not used. So I removed it, and that's gonna be our new top switch. The bottom switch, I think we'll get away with just flipping the blades around. So we'll try that. But I cleaned everything over here too. Here's the search disc, nice and shiny. This switch is clean. These fingers are clean. Search wiper fingers are clean. The groove's the only thing left to clean on that. And all these switches over here are clean too. And that's that. So I'll put it back together. We'll solder our new switch blade on there. And then we'll keep moving right along. All right, got the control unit finished up, mounted it back on this frame. There's our new switch stack over here. Sorted that out. We'll see if all this works later. If it's messed up, we'll just fix it, no big deal. So now it's time to work on everything on the lamp panel, which isn't much, because most of it is taken up by the magic lines mechanism. But we're gonna do these 4 replay counters first. And they're a little roughed up. They're not horrible, of course. These would probably still work if your scoring worked, I'd imagine. So on these, there's a couple switches down here. This is usually the typical replay counter setup. These all seem to step up fine and reset. So far I haven't really had any that were locked up, I don't believe, that weren't a 6-card game. So I'm gonna just do all of them one by one, knock them all out. They're all the same thing. And you've seen how replay counters work. It's not really anything to write home about. So I'll just take care of all these and then we'll look at all the goodies over there. All right, just got done with the last replay counter unit. So all of these have been taken care of. See, they're all nice and shiny now. That one there was probably the worst one, and that one is the white replay counter. But it's not destroyed like the Super 7 was. That one was horrible. These ones are alright, so they should work good. And all the switches on the back are clean. So I think the next thing we're gonna work on is the replay register. So what I usually do here is I clean these switches, which are right in my teeth here. And then I take this off with these 4 flathead screws. You could also take the whole thing off by taking off these nuts here, but I usually don't do that because that messes up the alignment. And then I can clean the reels from the front because these ones are pretty dirty. I usually clean it with wax because that helps in most cases. There's only been one time so far where that actually messed it up, so I'm hoping this time it doesn't happen. But I guess I'll find out. So I'll knock it out. I might pop in and out at times. It's shown before that I clean the reels and after so you could see the difference. But I'll get started. All right, that's about how they should look. Nice, clean, and shiny. I actually can't clean the thousands reel much more than that because this is as far as it goes. You can only go up to 1,999. So that's fine with me because if I had to keep spinning these reels just for this to move like 1/4 of an inch just to clean it some more, that would not be a way to end my day. So that's all taken care of because I cleaned the switches on the back. So I'll wind this back down, put it back together, then we can work on this random unit here. All right, that's all back together now. All the switches are clean. That one, did I clean that one? Yeah, I did. It's the light is at a weird angle. So now we're gonna do the random motor, random unit. And it's got some issues too. Biggest ones being, there's these wires here that are broke off. Looks like this one goes right here. This one goes right here, but I'll check the manual to be sure. Then there's one on the back that's broken too. This wire, which I assume goes right there. But we'll double check to make sure. Now all this does is it randomizes the double or nothing feature. This will just spin around, and then when it stops, when it finds your win, they're either completing a circuit for the double relays or for the missed relay. It looks like it cut the trace there, so that'll need to be repaired too. Then it looks like the way you take this off is you put an Allen wrench in there, take this off, and then that's pretty much it. I don't think it goes on a certain way other than the way that it's on that right now. So I'll take this apart, I'll clean it, I'll fix those wires, and then that should wrap that up. All right, just about finishing up the random unit. I repaired that trace right there and checked the manual, and yes, the wires went exactly where I thought they would. This one went here, this one went here, and this one says right on the front there that those are for the motor. So I soldered that one right there. And I also oiled the shaft, so it should be a little bit smoother now. It's a little tight right now, but it's probably just locked up from sitting for so long. And as for this little wiper, just clean the fingers. And now it's ready to be put back together. And the Allen key, or wrench that I had to use, was this one. It is 5/64 of an inch, in case you need to know for yours, if you got one. So that's how I'm gonna do it. So all I'm gonna do is just tighten those back down. Again, I don't think it matters where this goes. And then this will be done. And then we could work on the magic lines unit. So I'll finish this up and then we'll move along. All right, now it's time to tackle the magic lines unit itself. This is the early one. The original one, Miss America, and this game both have this style of magic lines mechanism. Miss America Supreme and Deluxe have a completely different mechanism, but it works pretty similarly. I've been looking this one over a little bit, and it looks like you can take this off two ways. You could take the entire thing off, or you can take it off piece by piece. And what I mean by that is this entire mechanism right here is held on by 4 screws and on the corners, and they unplug right here. So you can unplug these and take this off, and then you have just the lamps and the lines themselves. So I think I'm actually going to do that first, but I think in order to remove this, I have to disconnect these rods. Trying to think of the best way to do it. Some of them have these like clips on them. I'm not sure if that keeps them in place or what. But you can also disconnect them up here from these discs. So I think I'll just do that instead, just to make it go by faster, and that's less things I have to take apart. So I think you have to take these off with the magic lines from what I can see. Oh, well, maybe not. I don't know. But I feel like just taking them off from here is easier. So I'll just do that. And then we're gonna start from the very bottom, the light bulbs, and then work our way up to the top and finish off here. So I'll take that off and I'll show you what it should look like then. All right, now we're in business. So we're gonna actually start with the lines themselves. Now actually, these actually sit under here, but I pulled all of them out because they needed to be cleaned real bad. They got lots of soot on them. I'm gonna do the same thing with the replay reels. Clean it with wax. Don't use a chemical-based cleaner because it'll wipe the ink away. Just need to go along and clean these. This one's real bad. I tried wiping off some, but it's still too mad. Those should clean up nicely, I bet. And then as for here, I'm gonna take out each and every light bulb. I'm gonna clean the glass on it because these are the almost irreplaceable 1464 bulbs or 1458s. Some of these are 1464s. That one is. That one's also 1464. I guess all these are 1464s, I don't know. The majority of them were definitely replaced in their lifetime. But I'm gonna clean the glass. I'm gonna make sure they all work. I'm hoping that they all do because I don't know if I have any of those in the stock right now, but I'm hoping I do. So I'll clean these lines and I'll clean all the light bulbs, and I'll come back and show you the progress so far. And then I can mount this back and work on whatever needs to be done there. Oh, which by the way, this is mounted on by 4 screws. Here, there, here, and here. And then you can just lift this up and out of the way. And you can actually also take this thing completely off too. You You're gonna plug all the rest of these plugs. Then you can take this whole thing out. Then you're just left with this, which you can also take out by taking out these forward nuts here. You can remove the entire thing, and you can take this out and clean it real good if you need to. But there's enough room on the front, so I don't need to. So I'll take care of this, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like then. Alright, just finished cleaning the magic lines and all the light bulbs. See, they look much better. I used the Windex, of course, to clean them up. Lots of dirt and soot. These ones that are real dark have like heavy soot on the inside of the bulb, and there's nothing I can do about that. But I don't think you'll really notice them when you light them up. And then the magic lines turned out pretty good. I used wax on this side, then I used Windex on the other side. They look pretty good. This one was real bad, there where 25 was. So those are all nice and shiny. All right, so I'll put this back together, and then we gotta work on these strips because they have contacts on them and they wipe across wipers inside them. Those little like frames there, so those need to be cleaned too. So I'll set this back how it's supposed to be, and then I'll mess with this, see if I could figure out how to take those apart. Alright, I figured out how to take the lines out. It's actually pretty easy. So on this one, for example, there's this bracket that holds both sides in place. And it doesn't go all the way. This is one bracket, and then this is the other bracket. It's held on by 3 screws each, so to speak. So you take those out, and you can take both of those brackets out. Then you can take the line out. This is how it works. There's like a wiper every few inches or so. And those need to be cleaned, which I've done. And then this is how they work. They slide onto the brass ones. Those are the ones that make contact, I believe. And I just went along those with the sanding block. Got them nice and shiny. So I'm just going to put it back together and rinse and repeat 4 times. So that's how you take apart the magic lines unit on these types of titles. So I'll just knock the rest of these out, and I'll come back, and then we should be ready to put it back together for the most part. Okay, finished up the last of the lines. They weren't too bad, they all kind of look the same. So those are done. And one of the other things that I like to do is I like to check out these plugs, make sure that they're all right, they're not corroded. And I've checked through all these and they seem all right. So we'll just leave those alone. If there are problems, we'll check them out first. But now it's time to work on this mechanism, because there's actually something on here that's not right. This gear right here is like slanting out of place, kind of. Well, not out of place, but it's like, it's been grinding along that plate for a long time. You can see it. So hopefully we can fix that. So I'll set it back down here where it goes, and then we'll take a closer look at it. Alright, so now we're going to take apart this mechanism. So I took all the cams and the clutches and whatnot off to clean the switches, which I've done. Some of these were pitted pretty badly. Mainly these ones right here. These big ones are not so bad. So now I gotta flip it to the other side because I gotta take all the gears and whatnot off. I can move these things out of the way. We gotta take all those off. Which by looks, I gotta take that cam off and that cam off, then I can take all these off. I'm gonna clean them, grease them, and that should get them back in proper working order. And then I gotta oil this motor too. I think I can take that off from the other side too. So I'll knock all that out and I'll come back when it's all done. All right, took all the gears off. They all are. This is the one that I was talking about. It's been rubbing against that plate for so long that it's worn itself in. And like the hole is like messed up too. It's not round like these other ones. But a lot of these gears have like these little washers in them. I don't think that one had them in there, so that's probably why. So I'll just put those ones in here. I don't think they came from any of these other ones. I think they all have them. Kind of see because they're all dirty, but I'm gonna clean this up as best I can. Clean these up. I've oiled the motor already, so it's good to go. Just don't have that fan to put on there, but I don't think it'll need it. And then I'll just be ready to put it back together. So I'll clean it up and we'll put it back together and I'll show you how it looks after that. All right, finished cleaning up the gears. Got them all back together. Put some fresh grease on there. Also got the clutches back on there. I was testing it earlier to make sure that they were at home and they went at home. With the game turned on, of course. So now what we gotta do is just mount it back in the game and then we'll be ready to test it. All right, I got it all put back together. Hopefully it's right. All the lines are centered. I think I accidentally mixed up these two because when I put them on, the lines were not right. So I swapped them and orientated them like so. And now it seems to be good. I turned it on earlier for a moment just to see if they would run, and they did not. So I'm assuming that the orientation is correct. So that's pretty much everything in the game. So now all we got left to do is troubleshoot. But we're gonna actually try it first and see what's improved. So I'll set this back up, put that glass back in. We'll play a game or two, see how it functions. Okay, I tried it out and it is playing a little better, but there's still a lot of things that's wrong with it. For starters, I broke C and E. They don't work. And B might need some work because even though it's fine right now, sometimes when it stops, it's like not quite at home or where it's supposed to stop at. So it like stutters, it's like, so that'll need to be worked on. I was playing a few games, I wasn't playing just one. And the random motor is working because when the surge wiper is spinning, I can hear it spinning because I can hear the contacts squeaking. And it lit double or nothing, and it paid me double for both times that I attempted it. So that's working, because before it would just give me nothing all the time, if I remember. I don't think score extra step is working, but I don't think the latch is working. The coil, so we'll need to look at that. I'm pretty sure this is how it's always been. This arrow light is not working. I think the rollovers are working, at least the alternating, that works. Of course, extra card works because one of the double or nothing attempts was on the green, so that's working. Corners I don't know about yet, and that's pretty much it. Everything else seems to be working all right so far. But I'll make a list of everything that's wrong with it that I know about, and then we'll just start troubleshooting it bit by bit. Alright, so I made a list of all the crap we need to fix, which really isn't much. So the first thing is the magic lines C, D, and E. Like I said, they don't work. Well, C sometimes works if it's perfectly centered. It's really weird. D actually does work, but it's like intermittent. Right now it was working, but whenever I'd move it to the right, it would automatically move back to home. So we'll need to look at that. And E does not work at all. When I press the button, nothing happens. so we'll need to tinker with those. The score extra step, I haven't seen that work. Of course, why would it work? But we did have a problem earlier where the latch wouldn't engage, and I decided to just check that out before assuming things, and then it ended up being like a slightly misadjusted switch on the control unit. So I tinkered with that a little bit, and now it's now that latch engages, but the extra stepping is not extra stepping, so we need to check that out. The search wiper plus the lock. So what's going on is when this spins and it locks, and when it finds a win, the replay cam's coil, or actually I think it's this coil, it buzzes horribly, so that means we have a piss poor connection on one of these fingers, mainly on these like smaller rivets. That's like causing the coil to vibrate, or maybe this plate is really dirty, I don't know. It's one of the two. And then because of that whole problem, the search wiper doesn't lock all the time. Sometimes you need to keep pressing it for it to lock and find the win. So the card bulbs, some of them don't work. I wrote down which ones don't work, which is 2, 7, 19, and 24. 2 is on the main card, 7 is on the main card, 19 I think is on the extra card, and 24 is both of them. This one on the extra card, it comes on sometimes, but I think that they're going to be either bad bulbs or just poor connection. Because I tinkered with the 7 bulb and it came back on, but the next time I played it, it didn't come back on, so we'll need to tinker with that. I may just end up replacing them completely. And then the timer unit after 5th. So I don't know if I did something. See, that's the switch tag I ended up replacing, but see right now it's the end of the game and the timer unit is not stepping up. It's supposed to. So I don't know if I messed up this wiring or not. I'm pretty sure I got it right because the mixer coil's engaged. And it's supposed to, and that's along with that top switch. So I have to have the wiring correct. But I don't know, maybe I didn't solder it good enough on that switch blade, so I need to check that out. But that will probably just be that switch, because ever since I replaced that switch, that's why I noticed it wasn't working. And then there's other things we still need to do, like we need to check corners, make sure that works. We need to check the rest of Double or Nothing, because sometimes when it finds a yellow win, these lights don't flash, so that'll probably be something with the search wiper though. But I've seen the green and white ones work, and the randomization is working too. It'll either give me double or it'll give me nothing like it has here in the red lines. And then I need to finish the cosmetics, like I still need to clean the foot rail. I still need to repaint these stars, just these two on the front. I need to fix these spring bumpers, or not spring bumpers, those bumpers. I cleaned the glass, but I need to clean it some more. And I think that's pretty much it. And then you do the light bulb mod, which technically we don't have to do this, but you know, I want to see how it looks with all the translucent areas lit up. I'm pretty sure it would make it pop. And then you need to print the instruction cards too. So that's pretty much it. Not much left. I'm hoping all this will be simple things. It seems pretty simple except for probably this. I don't know, who's to say really. So we'll take a look at the magic lines first. We could probably do a 2-in-1, do the magic lines and the bulbs at the same time, since it'll be right there. So we'll look at that first. All right, we're at the rest of those lines working good. I adjusted this coil on the C line, and that seems to have done it. So that's now fixed. And the D one, I cleaned that plate. It was all grimy and shit. and now it no longer seems to be sticking. So that's working good. The E-line is working good too. So those are fixed. So now, let's work on the light bulbs, get those situated. All right, got all the light bulbs working. This is 24. This one was just loose in the socket, so I don't know, I'll keep my eye on it. And tinkering with it, it's not trying to go out, so I don't know. This one was burnt out. This is 2. This one was loose in the socket. Actually, no, this one was burnt out. This is 7. This one was loose in the socket. And this socket's kind of weird, but I don't know. And then this one was burnt out. And then this one was also burnt out. This is 19. This is 19. And that was it. It's 2, 7, 19, 24. So they're all working. So all the light bulbs should be working now. So put this back together. Then we'll be done with the Magic Lines unit altogether. Thank God. All right, got it back together. It's working pretty good for the most part. I might have to look out on that C line. It still kind of does that thing where it goes back to home when it's to the left or the right, I think. I don't know. And I'll have to keep an eye on that 3 bulb. It kind of has an iffy contact. But aside from that, those are out of the way. So now I'm going to look at the search wiper. So I have a win here. I'm going to show you what happens when I press the button. Sometimes I won't find it. Right there, I heard that click, but it didn't lock. Here, I found it that time. And yeah, see it. These lights aren't flashing. And this coil's buzzing. Yeah, I need to look at that. But let's see if double or nothing works. Show you that. I got double. Man, this thing counts up fast. So we'll look at that search wiper. It'll probably just be as simple as one of the wipers is dirty on the search wiper. But we'll know for sure when we take it apart. So I'll do that and I'll show you what's wrong if I find anything. All right, back in it again. So what I did this time was, when I cleaned this, I think I just used a sanding block on it, thinking nothing of it. So this time I actually went through all the contacts and actually filed them down a bit. So we'll see what that does. So I'll put it back together and we'll give it a try. All right, got it all back together. Game's up and running. Now you see our timer unit's now stepping up because I messed with that switch stack earlier since this was all in my teeth. And I found out the switch for the timer step up was way out of adjustment. So I bent it way down so that the bar actually closes it when it runs over that. And now our timer unit's back to stepping up. So let's see if cleaning those fingers did anything. Okay. Looks like that's fixed it. It's not buzzing anymore. Our lights are back. Okay, perfect. I was worried that would be that coil there in the back. All right, so that's all taken care of. Another 2-in-1. So I think the only thing that's left to look at is these score extra steps. So I'll put this back, and we'll take a look at what's going on up there. Okay, so we're gonna look at the score extra step assembly. So one of the issues that I noticed about this one is there's a lot of play in this disc, and I don't really like that, because if this lands in the right spot when this locks and this stalls, that switch is going to be damn near closed, and it might even touch, which will lock on one of the score units. So a while ago when I got those spare parts that I meant to use in the Miss America Deluxe, the seller included me an extra assembly, and this one has no play in the disc. It's nice and solid, so I'm going to swap it with this one. And this is the third mixer. And I looked in the diagram, and there's actually a lot of points, or rivets rather, that are connected to each of these score units. And the way the power is fed through is through this one wire right here. It's connected through to that string of rivets that it's soldered to, because there's no lugs, no more lugs on this disc. They have all been used up. And that's how this knows which score unit to step up. And the whole thing is actually working. It's just this is stalling too much, and it's also locked up, and the clutch needs to be oiled. And it's slipping a lot. So hopefully this one should do the trick. I don't know what's up with this one. I would try to just like see if I could fix this myself, but since I already have that spare assembly on hand, I'm just gonna swap the whole thing. So what I'll do is I'll take this whole thing apart again and swap that assembly, and that should hopefully get us back up and running, but we'll see. All right, folks, our score extra step is now extra stepping. So I'll tell you what I had to do. So for starters, that other score extra step assembly, I couldn't use, because see these little posts right here? The other one didn't have that. So I'm stuck with this one. But what I did do with this one is I oiled it. Whoa, it's still touchy. And I oiled the crap out of the inside, cleaned it all out, so it's very loose now. And it doesn't stall or get stuck anymore. Let's see. Trying to show you. Here you go. You can see it does work. And I think there's one other thing that I did. Oh yeah, I also adjusted that switch a little bit, so that because this has like play in it, I feel like if it's like just barely touching a bump, one of the bumps there, the switch doesn't close and lock on one of the coils. And I did see it work. I started a new game, and the white stepped up here, but then it also stepped up here, so it's working. I think it goes up to like 2 or 3 extra steps because of the way this is mounted. And I also adjusted this a little bit. I may need to adjust it some more because of the play in this plate here, so that the latch can like properly lock on it. Seems to be alright so far. I have seen it work the way it is, so I may end up just leaving it. The thing with this game is the scores already step up a lot alone, even without the extra step assembly doing its thing. So I'm fine with it, even if it's like very intermittent. But it does work, so I can now sleep knowing that it works. So I think one of the last things left to do, really, since we got this out of the way, is we need to check corners. I've checked Double or Nothing. It's working on every single color. So that's off the table. So I think we'll just do it now. So let me enable corners. It's this last trick relay right here. Here we go. You know what? I don't want to have to see it count up to 300, so I'm going to actually step down that red score unit. Okay, that's good. So we need to land in 5, 25, 7, and 24. All right. So we'll pop the first number, which is 5. It's lit. Second number, 7. Okay. Okay, next number, 24. Here we go. Lastly, 25. And we have corners on the main card. I'm not gonna bother shooting last ball. Okay, so when it finds it, I'm gonna hit regular because I don't want to try doubling nothing. Okay, there we go, it's found it. Now we're gonna hit regular. Oh, I don't like that. Okay. So it works, but the search wiper is stalling. So I'll need to look at that. But it's pretty much working. So I'll mess with that next, see if I can situate that, and I'll come back and I'll let you know if I find what's wrong with it. Okay, I think I fixed it. There's kind of two problems. One, these switches right here, they were adjusted a little too close to each other, so when this would disengage, some of them were still set, so that's why it would like stutter. You know, that kind of sounds familiar, don't it? And then the other problem was this latch right here. I think the spring was a little too weak, because I think since this is like spinning at a really high speed, or faster than they normally spin, that this gear is like forcing the latch to like stay engaged even though it didn't need to be. So we're about to try it and see if that got it. I'm pretty sure it did. Okay, so it's found it. This is a regular one, and we push it in and we'll start paying out. Okay, it still stays stuck, but might need to look at it some more. But I'll tamper with that. Corner's pretty much working, so we'll cross it off the list. So then we'll just move on to whatever else we have left to do. Okay, I adjusted the spring. I cut one ring back so it's a little more tighter, and that did it. So now it no longer sticks. So that's out of the way. So corners is good to go. Okay. So we just have cosmetic things left to do. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do is the light bulb mod. And I also need to do the foot rail and repaint those stars. I printed out the instruction cards, stuck them on. Those are good to go. I need to fix these. But, oh, I also need to clean the glass too. But that'll be it. So, just to save myself some time, I'm just gonna knock all of that out. I definitely won't be doing it all in one day because this is gonna take forever. That I don't really know what to do about at the moment. The light bulb mod is probably gonna take hours. I don't have that much time in a day to work on this. So, I will cut back when it's all done and I'll show you how it looks after that. All right, folks, I'm all done. So I finished up the rest of the cosmetics like I said I was going to do. The only thing I didn't do was repaint these stars, and I feel like I've done enough, honestly, with this game, so I just left them alone. Next person can do that if they wish. But I cleaned up the foot rail. Looks real good. A lot of those nails were not flush against these little posts, like you can see how some of them are, so that made removing them a lot easier. The only one I couldn't remove was this one right here, but that's alright. Cleaned around as best I could. Cleaned the buttons as best I could. They're obviously pretty worn, but they're still eligible. And I cleaned the back glass, the rest of it, got all that adhesive off. I had to use iso alcohol, and that did the trick. And I cleaned the playfield glass, but This one that you see is a spare. The original glass is right here, but the problem with it is um, it's real foggy looking. I don't know what's going on with it. It's so foggy at the point where you can like barely see through it. I mean, you could like see through it fine. You can tell with this glass leaning against the wall that you can see through it. But when you're standing from here, like right up there is like real like hazy looking, and I can't seem to get it to come off, whatever it is. And I think the back glass is like that too. And there's also something on this glass, like, see all like that, like those like dots? It's like something that's like on the glass, and that's, you can like feel it when you rub your hand against it. Like I've cleaned this like probably like 10 times and still can't get it off. I can tell when I'm rubbing the paper towel on the glass. Like here's a good shot right here. Like it's not as smooth as you would think it is. So I don't know what that is, but that's on there forever now. But when you're standing from here, you can't see it. Oh, I want to show you something. You're gonna love it. What do you think? That was probably the cherry on top. I'm amazed at how much better that looks when you have all the translucent areas lit up like that. I actually ran out of those sockets. See out here, over here on the extra card, there's 2 lamps right under there. But here on the main card, there's only 1 because I ran out of sockets. I could have just soldered a light bulb over there like I did with Nashville because I didn't have the sockets back then. But I didn't feel like doing it. I don't think anybody would care, honestly. So, with that said, it's time to finish off this project by playing some games on it so you can see how it works. And speaking of the game, it is playing pretty good for the most part. I need to watch over the C line because whenever I move it to the left, sometimes it goes back to home still. I don't know if I didn't clean that one switch at the top, but eventually if I keep moving it, it'll stop trying to go back to home, so might have to keep my eye out on that. Might have to tinker with it some more. And then there's actually a problem that's just now started popping up, and that is the clutches on the replay cams on the control unit are starting to wear out, because when I score, sometimes it'll stall, but then it'll keep going. It doesn't do that all the time, but it happens pretty often. You'll probably see it too if I make some wins when we play it in a little bit. But I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. Looks like a completely different machine, just like Carnival Queen. I wish I could get a new glass for it though. Again, it doesn't look horrible and it looks pretty good right now, so I'm fine with it. This game's fun as hell. I definitely recommend it. And I think with these Miss America titles is they're pretty common. Bally made a lot of them, like a lot of them of each. So from time to time, you'll often see a bunch of these for sale. I think I've seen about like 6 of these for sale ever since I started looking for these online for sale. And I didn't mention this earlier, but I actually have 2 of these games. Again, just like the Miss America Deluxe. I have another one of this too, but it's not much better than this one. But it's not as bad as this one, but you'll see it later in the series. But unfortunately, that machine also needs a glass too. So one better pop up for sale by the time I start repairing it. But I don't know. That's for future me to deal with. So here's those instruction cards again. What What I like to do with those is there's scans of each game floating around online, and they're for the most part. And what I do is I just print them out, try to match up the size as best I can, and then I just laminate it with packing tape, and that seems to do a pretty good job. And I put like those Elmer's disappearing purple glue sticks to glue it to the apron instead of putting those nails in like you see in some of the games, and that seems to hold them down pretty good. Oh, and then I fixed these too. I just put tape around. I didn't really know what to do about those. Like I said, you can't really get those. Sometimes you'll see them floating around on like eBay, but they'll be with other parts that I don't need. So I don't want to buy a bunch of things I don't need just for 2 things that I need, you know? But other than that, she's beautiful. So I'll set up the tripod. We'll play a few games because we got some credits to spend. So let's play. All right, we probably won't play a whole lot of games because it's pretty late and I gotta go to bed soon because I have to get ready for work. But we'll just play a few just so you can see how it works. All right, here we go. All right, let's see what we can unlock. All right, we got the first couple magic lines. There's the next one. Okay, there's the next one. All right, now we got all of them. Now I just need to let the extra card. There we go. All right, we'll keep it there. There's the first ball, see where it goes. $25. All right. $13. Okay. We got 2 in the yellow already, and that's a good one to start with. Drain the ball, try again. Drain the ball again. If we landed 6, we need to land at 6. That's a good one because I can move that A line all the way across and have 3 in the yellow. Oh, close enough. I'm gonna leave the main card alone. I'm gonna move the E line. There we go. It gives us a couple opportunities to make that white score. As for that yellow score, we'll just have to rely on good RNG at this point. But there we go. We got 3 in the white. That E line is kind of OP because if you land in the right numbers, like what I did there, you could automatically make a 3-in-line win. So if we make a 9, or if we land in 9, we'll be making big money. $12. Okay, that's all right. Now we can collect the white score. So I'm going to press the S button. Now it's flashing double or nothing, regular winner, or double or nothing for the white score. I think just to start off the game, I'm gonna click the regular score. All right, fantastic. And did you see the score wheels stall for a second? That's what I was talking about. Sometimes it's worse, but it doesn't stall forever. All right, new game. All right. We lit after, before fifth. That's good. We lit the rollovers. I don't get it unless there's like a mistake that I did, but I don't see the point of the rollovers tripping when I have before fifth enabled. And sometimes what I like to do is I like to stall, or not stall, wait for the game before pressing the button again when the scores step up to see if the extra step qualifies. All right, we'll leave it there. Let's see what we can get. 5, okay. $13, all right. $10, okay. $1. See, these games you really got to think about with this mode, the magic lines. Because you could, like, I could move the B line over here, and then I have to rely on 7 to make a 4 line there. Or I can move the E line over this way, and then rely on 24 to make a 3 line that way. Or I can move it like this and hope for, actually no, this is, I have before 5th lit, so it wouldn't matter, but I was gonna say if I did land in 11, I would rely on 24 to make a 4 line yellow. But we have extra card enabled. I think I'm gonna leave it there because 7's really easy to land in. And of course, now that I say that, I won't land in 7, but here we go. Oh, almost did. All right, hopefully we can try again. Yes, all right. All right, 7, come on. I know. Don't land in a shitty number. 25. Well, that's all right. Can't win them all. New game. I really extra card off the bat. That's good. Oh, I just realized corners is lit. Don't think we'll make that though. Come on, give me the magic lines. Okay, I guess we're not playing any of the lines. All right, that's fine. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, I think I'll need to adjust that switch, that runaway switch when the ball leaves the trough. I have to throw off the runway because sometimes it doesn't kick out the next ball. That's just a simple adjustment, though. I'm not too concerned about that. Okay, pretty good so far. All right. Five, okay. We need 15, 25, and 9. Seven. Okay. Didn't win that one. That's okay. I think the only part that looks bad on the glass is press buttons before fourth. I think that's the only spot to me that looks bad. Everything else looks pretty good. Even the red score doesn't look too bad. All right. Eight. $13. $5 again. Yellow score's pretty good already. But I think I'll move. We only have A and B unlocked, but I can move the A line this way, move the B line that way. Then I have the possibility to collect the yellow score or a red score if I land in 14 or 12, it looks like. Or I guess 9 too, on the white score. Two. Okay, now we have 16, but that one's hard to land in. $24. But you know what? Let's try for extra balls, because I haven't really showed that to you. You wouldn't believe it. It's actually wired normally on this game. I couldn't believe it when I tried it out. But it's still kind of hard to get still. There we go. All right. Give me something good. 3. That's not good. All right. One more game. All right, nice. We got all of them. Might as well spend the rest of them. All right. 21, all right. Seven. Let's number down either that one game. 18. See, I could move the ceiling that way and rely on 4 or 19 to make the green score. I think I'll do that because I could land in 3 or 2 or 16. I've got a lot of options here. Okay, none of them that time. $15. Oh, there we go. We got the yellow score, but that score is smaller yet. Should have pulled that back a bit harder. $22. Oh, there we go. Now we have 4 in the yellow, but still pretty small, but it's better than nothing. All right, this is where I choose my fate. Do I collect the regular, or I get try for double or nothing? It's not a huge loss because it's only 24 credits, but double is 40, and it's a pretty big number to me. But you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna hit double or nothing. Here we go. Fantastic. All right. Again, you saw it stall, but it doesn't bother me. You counted up all the way, so that's all that matters. All right, that's a good way to end off the video. So there you go, folks. There's Bally's Miss America 75 Bingo Pinball game. Set my tripods at the side. I really like this one. I'd definitely be willing to work on one of these again, which I will later in the series. So that's it for this repair video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.